Hi, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. I almost went live, like did a live stream looking at this paper, but I can't figure the thing out. I tried to change like from vertical to horizontal and put my camera like it is, but then it said I have it wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. So anyway, I'm just gonna record this and then post it. It's a beautiful day. And so I went up to the 7-Eleven, or as I call it, the Slevin, and picked up a USA Today weekend and a loaf of actual real sourdough bread at the market and put a little butter and jam. But I already ate one piece, and I have to say, it was pretty thick, and I'm kind of full, so I don't know if I'll actually eat that right now or not. So anyway, I just thought we could take a look. This is USA Today weekend for May 16th through the 18th. Honestly, I can't even remember what's the date today. Today is the 18th. So this paper came out a few days ago. But that's okay. Con man fakes way into Talladega race. What's his name? Ricky Bobby. Imposter takes on NASCAR's fastest track and then tries to outrun the law. Oh no. Teams primed for WNBA Showtime. From Caitlin Clark to the league's newest franchise, what to know about every squad. My uncle, who died recently, loved WNBA and Caitlin Clark. That makes me think of Carol G. Leveling Up for Dream album. I've never heard of Carol G. I don't know who that is. That's how out of it I am. Air Force One, how Qatari jet compares. Trump, U.S. should have most impressive plane. I think I do have some allergies right now. There is so much pollen. So much pollen. President Donald Trump says Air Force One isn't up to snuff when he lands and looks over at the planes of the leaders of Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates sitting on the tarmac. He says his presidential ride doesn't compare. This is like a totally different plane, Trump told Fox News commentator Sean Hannity this week aboard Air Force One during his trip to the Middle East. It's much smaller. It's less impressive. I was my Trump impersonation. Yet, as Trump plans to accept a Boeing 747-8, often dubbed a palace in the sky, the Qatar's royal family, a $400 million foreign gift that would be the largest ever to a U.S. president. The exterior differences might not jump off the page for a casual flyer. I don't know if I read that paragraph right. It sounded funny. The Qatari plane stretches 18 feet 4 inches longer than Air Force One, can carry more weight, and fly slightly faster and farther. It's also 22 years newer than Air Force One, built in 1990. Both planes hold about the same number of passengers and have the same height, but the Qatari plane separates itself most visibly with its lavish inside amenities, creamy white and tan leather furnishings, rugs, and artwork designed by the famed French interior design firm Cabinet Alberto Pinto, according to Bloomberg. Trump has portrayed the Air Force One as aging relic and the Qatari plane as a badly needed upgrade. We're the United States of America, Trump said. I believe that we should have the most impressive plane. But if converted to Air Force One, the Qatari plane inside, Qatari, am I saying that right? I guess so. Plane inside would have to be entirely stripped, scrubbed for surveillance technology for security reasons, and effectively rebuilt. Republican lawmakers on committees that oversee the nation's armed services and intelligence agencies told the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, I would think you'd have to, for security, not look through all that stuff. Trump has complained that Boeing has been too slow to complete a new Air Force One after his first administration in 2018 awarded the company. Oh, yeah, I remember that. I forgot that happened, actually. He awarded them a $3.9 billion contract to build 2 new Air Force One jets. CNN reported the new planes could be delivered in 2027, 2 years earlier than most recently predicted. Okay, so here we have the different planes. Okay. Ages of plane. The current Air Force One was completed in 1990 and served 6 presidents: George H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Trump, both in his first and second in non-consecutive terms. The Qatari royal family purchased the Boeing 747B in 2012. Okay. There you go. All you needed to know. Gambling addicts lament toll taken. Legalized sports betting, a rising scourge at colleges. I bet. Yeah. It was Game 5 in the Western Conference 2018 Finals, and the Houston Rockets were looking to take the lead in a tied series with the Golden State Warriors. With just over a minute left in the game, Rockets guard Eric Gordon hit a clutch shot. Rockets win 98-94. When Gordon scored, the room erupted in Saul Malik's suburban Houston home. The win was exhilarating for the then 20-year-old, a lifelong Rockets fan, but it was also terrifying. He joined his twin brother and dad leaping up from the couch and cheering. Unbeknownst to him, he was panicking. He bet $1,500 on the Warriors to win. And he now owed money he didn't have to his bookie. Uh-oh. So this isn't like the apps. This is actual, like, how's that work? I don't know. He would be the first of many times he went into debt due to sports gambling. A sports gambling addiction that ruled his life for 2 years. At his lowest point, he recalls being down $25,000. Yeah, I got really nervous about this because when they legalized, the apps, and they had, like, in the beginning, a lot of the apps had, like, if you refer a friend, you get $200 and stuff. So my grown sons and I, we were all referring each other and getting the free money. And then back then, they didn't even have playthrough, so you could make, like, one bet and then pull the money. So we were doing a lot of that, but we were also gambling a little bit, and I got super, like, concerned that I was going to help them into a gambling addiction, but luckily all of them are like, nah, they just aren't interested, thank God. I think I do more, like, and I don't play much, but, on cruise ships I gamble a little. None of them are into it. They think it's dumb. Women face daunting retirement crisis. Earning less, caring for others puts them at a disadvantage. Oh, I can't even imagine the amount of women who stayed home with kids so they don't have the earning history. They haven't paid as much into the system even though they've been working hard. I'm not sure how that all works, honestly. I think I've told this story, but at the grocery store near me, one of the checkout ladies, she's like older than me, 60 probably, and she used to work at a company, and they had a contest for one of their vendors, and their vendor was like Pillsbury or Betty Crocker, whoever it was, I forget, and it was a contest, and so she came up, and this is what she told me, I don't know, she came up with the idea Oh my God, I'm having a blank. Hold on. When they put the little color in the cake, what is that called? It's on everything now. Oh, shucks. I'm blank. I'm sorry. I'm having a blank. But anyway, she came up with that and she won a prize and she won like a watch and something else. But then they went and took that and they've made millions of dollars. And because she had no work experience after that, she did that. Then she went home, stayed with her kids all the way till college. And now, like, nobody wants to hire her because she's older and doesn't have a lot of work experience. So she works as a cashier. Funfetti. She came up with the name Funfetti. What? How about that? And then never, all she got was like a stupid little prize. It's the story. Actually, no. Okay, Trump's parade plans to include tanks. It also has soldiers sleeping in D.C. offices. The big military parade planned for June 14th, the Army's 250th anniversary and President Trump's 79th birthday, will feature dozens of tanks rumbling through the streets of Washington, warplanes buzzing overhead, and 7,500 soldiers housed in government office buildings downtown, according to Army planning documents. Okay. A $30 million price tag rising to close to $45 million. Struggling to find uniforms from the War of 1812. What? The parade will salute the Army's heritage from the Revolutionary War to the present, with soldiers in period uniforms. Some time periods have proved harder to find period dress from than others. The Army is struggling to outfit soldiers in uniforms from the War of 1812 and the Spanish-American War. Huh. Interesting. Harvard scientists faces smuggling charges. Feds say she didn't declare biologic material. The Trump administration has levied federal smuggling charges against Harvard scientist Ksenia Petrova as the Russian national fights for her freedom from immigration detention. Prosecutors filed the charges in U.S. District Court. Let's see. The government contends that Petrova failed to declare biologic material when arriving at Boston Logan International Airport in February. In the lawsuit, the government asked U.S. Judge Christina Reese to dismiss Petrova's case and deport her to her native Russia. So is this just their thing? What did she? Okay. In court documents, they were samples of non-living, chemically fixed frog embryos. They were not alive. Therefore, she did not believe they need to be declared. Sounds like a hit job on. They're trying to get Harvard because Harvard's, whatever. Justice revive lawsuit on deadly force. Justices revive. The Supreme Court revived a lawsuit against a Houston area police officer who fatally shot a man during a traffic stop over unpaid tolls. What? Come on. In a unanimous opinion, the justices said court can look beyond the exact moment a police officer is using deadly force to determine if the force was unreasonable. I hadn't even heard of that one. Scientists find sea moth from millions of years ago, and they have a picture here. Scientists have discovered a three-eyed sea moth. I'm getting the song in my head. Purple people eater, one-eyed, one-horned. Okay, that dates back more than 500 million years ago. Paleontologist Joseph Moisiuk and Jean-Bernard Caron published a study May 14th that introduces their findings of Mosura fentoni. That sounds cool. A new type of radiodont that existed more than 500 million years ago. This sea moth-like species caught researchers' attention because of its third median eye. Why did it have a third eye? While paleontologists are still learning why it had a third eye, researchers believe the eye may have been used to detect light and the seascape it moved through. Okay, that's cool. Woodpeckers attacking cars, ruffling feathers. I have so many woodpeckers in my yard. And they just look at me and they go, ah, 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 ah. Why would a woodpecker peck something other than wood? A woodpeck, golly, good. If woodpeck could peck wood. And what would you do with a woodpecker whose pecking is perturbing, perplexing, and property damage? I had a woodpecker decide he found a bug in the side of my wood siding on the side of my house, right near my bedroom window, and he'd come there in the morning and peck. And I actually talked to a guy who knew something about that stuff, and he said once they find one bug, they will come back and back and back, even if they're not finding anything, because I was worried like I had termites or something. He goes, nah, it's just being persistent. So we filled the hole in and painted over it, and then he stopped after that. Week in review. I might have to have a taste of this. It looks like it's gonna be too crunchy. Maybe I gotta break it up. So I got this really good quality sourdough bread. Must have been sitting here for a minute. I don't know why this butter didn't melt. And I just put Kerrygold and berry jam on it. It's gonna be yum. Good grief. All right. Week in review. Recapping the most important and talked about news of the week from around the world. Okay. Trump, China agree to pause tariffs while working on a deal. The Trump administration and China have agreed to slash tariffs for the next 90 days in a push to de-escalate a trade war between the world's two largest economies while the two sides continue to negotiate a long-term agreement. The deal marks a momentary retreat for President Donald Trump, who had defended his steep tariffs on China imports as critical to rejuvenate domestic manufacturing in the United States. Even as the move rattles global markets and stoked economic anxieties among Americans. I'm not clear on what, like, is Trump, he said he was doing the tariffs to get manufacturing back in the U.S., but what company in their right mind would start paying to build factories here when you are so unclear how long these tariffs will last? And so it doesn't feel like that's the point of the tariffs. The tariffs, he seems to be saying now, is for negotiating. So I don't know. I'm kind of confused, to be honest. Look beyond Diddy's trial. Human trafficking is real. Yeah. I know that might be too upsetting. McDonald's announces plan to hire 375,000 people this summer. Wow. I have not been to a McDonald's, and there is literally one walking distance from my house. I think, I don't know, 15 years. I just don't ever eat there. It was never my kind of, like, I like Taco Bell. I like Wendy's. I even like Arby's, and everybody hates Arby's, but I like Arby's. But I don't like McDonald's. Not that I eat any of them often. McDonald's is planning to hire up to 375,000 workers at restaurants across the country this summer. 375,000. I wonder what they normally hire, because you would think during the summer, as many McDonald's as there are, they'd hire, you know, that number doesn't feel that high to me, I guess, because I'm sure they do more business. The company said in a news release that the hiring blitz is one of the biggest in years, okay? It comes as McDonald's aims to reach a total of 50,000 restaurants by 2027, an increase of 900 restaurants. I guess one thing why they haven't been hiring as much, when I drive by mine, I haven't been in there, but I can see these touch screens and people lined up at the touch screens. So I'm assuming they don't need as many employees for the front desk, Front desk, I don't know, ordering counter, whatever. Image of the week, a ghostly launch. The SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket rises behind the Indian River Queen, through the clouds and fog on Starlink Mission 683 from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Yeah, it almost looks like it's came off of it. John Cena opens up about his skin cancer. Oh, that's too bad. He's the new face of Ultra Sheer Mineral Liquid Sunscreen SPF 70 because he always neglected sunscreen. And he has gratitude after his cancer scare. Pete Rose eligible for Hall of Fame. Pete Rose, the deceased all-time hit king whose gambling on baseball banished him from the game, was posthumously removed from the Major League Baseball's permanently ineligible list by Commissioner Rob Manfred, a stunning turn in one of sports' longest-running dramas that could pave the way for Rose to earn enshrinement in the game's Hall of Fame. I remember that when he got, but I don't remember the whole story. Did it affect his play? Was he giving up runs or something? I don't know the story. Feds, ex-guardsman planned base attack. Ooh. This is out of Detroit. A former member of the Michigan Army National Guard has been arrested for allegedly attempting to carry out a mass attack at a U.S. military base in suburban Detroit on behalf of the Islamic State militant group. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound very good. But they caught him? Is that what we're hearing? Planned it, but they caught him? Well, good. Gambling. For young men, this is a continuation of, for young men, sports and gambling are everywhere. Yeah, that's true. And talked about everywhere. Everybody has a betting workbook in their hand. Sports betting addiction faces stigma. Why? Yeah. Children programs are beating heart of PBS, and we need them. Arthur. Oh, I used to love Arthur. Do you remember the Arthur where the one girl saying a swear word and they were bleeping it? That was funny. Arthur is so cute. Yeah. There are a lot of good kids programming. Kids programming is the beating heart of PBS. 90% of parents say PBS kids content is trusted and safe source for children. Well, yeah. Yeah, they need to make sure they, don't lose that. That would be a real shame. Cutting funding to PBS is stupid. I'm sorry. They need to speak. I think people need to speak up about that. That's just silly. All right. Not silly. It's bad. The Long Talladega Con. The con man parked his Cadillac in front of the Cuckoo Marlin's garage. He was going by the name L.W. Wright in those days, and he strode to that first meeting with the confidence of a cat burglar, a wad of cash ready to dangle, and a couple of car racers ready to sucker. The interaction happened during the last week of April 1982 on the Cuckoo Marlin family farm in Columbia, Tennessee, about an hour south of Nashville, off Interstate 65. So this is a historical story. Could the con man drive around the speedway as fast as he could talk? Is this him? Sterling Marlin, Wright's crew chief, would go on to be named one of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers. Oh, I guess not. Must not be him. Well, I can't read all all that because look, this is all about it. So if you're interested in that story, this entire section. After getting black flag at Talladega, Wright tries to outrun the law. I bet this is probably an interesting story. But this entire section's about it. After 2.5-week-long manhunt, Wright was arrested February 10th, 2023 in Knox County, Tennessee on charges of theft and evading arrest. That's wild. Carol G has a beautiful plan to change the narrative. I don't think I know her. I don't know what song she sings that I'd know. I don't know. I haven't been listening to the radio very often, I guess, lately. They said, what? The Star's best quotes. In my home, the America I love, the America I've written about that has been a beacon of hope and liberty for 250 years, is currently in the hands of a corrupt, incompetent, and treasonous administration. Bruce Springsteen slamming President Donald Trump during a performance in Manchester, England. At the first show of the E Street Band's European tour, the singer said he is calling upon the righteous power of art, of music, of rock and roll in dangerous times, and asked all who believe in democracy and the best of our American spirit to rise with us. Raise your voices against authoritarianism and let freedom ring. Yeah, I think Trump came back and said, you shouldn't have said that until you're back home. Like he won't let him back in the country or something. I don't know. It's your birthday. This is called freedom of speech. Okay. But, the Dixie Chicks got completely canceled for it, for saying something about Bush one time. So, it can happen. But not, Bush didn't do anything, just the people. Megan Fox is 39. Janet Jackson, Miss Jackson if you're nasty, is 59. And Pierce Brosnan is 72. All right, let's take a look at the horoscopes. No, I don't believe in this stuff. But I have fun reading them. All right, I am a Sagittarius. Being strict with your money and routines, cautiousness can frustrate passion projects and relationships. Are they calling me cheap? Wow. All right, if you're Aries, March 21st through April 19th. Owning your value, the Capricorn moon offers clarity about personal worth. The task is to state this claim. Okay. The task is to state this claim publicly. What? Taurus, April 20th through May 20th. I think my dad's Taurus. Logically, you see your life unfolding from a practical perspective, but are there hidden desires that are not accounted for? Gemini, May 21st through June 21st. Want to be left alone with your thoughts? A reclusive mindset can stifle encounters with others. Okay. Cancer, June 22nd to July 22nd. Friends have solid advice today. Struggling with a goal or career issue? Call on your network for help. Leo, July 23rd through August 22nd. Work priorities take precedence today. The Capricorn moon encourages an efficient and productive mindset. But where's the fun in that? Okay, that's my sister. Virgo, August 23rd through September 22nd. Creative ideas are flowing. Feeling the need to express yourself? The Capricorn moon initiates the start of a passion project. Whoa. Libra, September 23rd to October 23rd. I think that's my mother. Sticking to your process. Structured approaches may get in the way of relating. Give a little. Give a little. What's next? Scorpio. October 24th through November 21st. Work priorities can get out of balance today. Are you talking rather than doing? Be clear about your time constraints. All right, we did Sagittarius, Capricorn, December 22nd to January 19th. You're in your zone, but frustration in your personal life may derail your productive streak. Can you juggle the two? And then Aquarius. This is the dawning. January 20th to February 18th. Slow down for introspectio. The Capricorn moon offers deep reflection, but only if you can set social boundaries. And then Pisces has like the shortest thing ever. February 19th to March 20th. Goal-oriented discussions get the ball rolling. That's pretty good advice. Goal-oriented discussions. College comedy's excess still feels real. They're talking about Prime Video overcompensating. I haven't heard of that one. They gave it 3.5 stars. Okay. Benito Skinner stars as Benny, and Wally Barham is Carmen in Overcompensating. Bravo star puts mental health and dogs first. What show is she from? Summer Should Be Fun, and Summer House star Amanda Batula is making sure of that. I never watched that show. Bloodlines adds urgency to Final Formula. I never watched that show either. And then we have all the crosswords. Change agent Abdul Jabbar got early start. Oh, Kareem Abdul Jabbar, yeah. We all want to change the world. He was working to change the world long before the 7'2" center became one of the greatest NBA players ever and one of the most politically outspoken. He's written a new book called We All Want to Change the World, My Journey Through Social Justice Movements from 1960s to Today. The prolific author and one-time Time magazine columnist looks back at America's protest movement from free speech and civil rights to the national protest following the murder of George Floyd. That's probably an interesting book, I bet. This is more about Carol G., more about the Prime Video show. They gave a good review. United Airlines unveils new business class. They're going to revamp its long-haul premium cabins on May 13th. I wish I could afford those for, like, international. You walk in and you go by all these people getting champagne and about to lie down and relax, and then you go back to where I sit and I'm squished between all these people. The masses. Margaritaville at Sea will expand with third ship. I feel like, I wonder how these are. I don't know. I feel like it would be too much of a drunk party cruise for me, but I don't know. Maybe it's fun. If anyone's done that. Nissan CEO urges Japan to accelerate trade talks. Jackson Hole Airport earns Dark Sky title. Oh, that's cool. That's where you can go and see the stars. Like, student loan borrowers face debt collection again after pandemic era pause. Well, I feel bad for people who have like tons of For 5 years, student loan borrowers who consistently couldn't pay their bills did not face the threat of debt collection, but all that extra breathing room is now gone. About 195,000 borrowers who haven't paid their student loan bills for at least 9 months received 30-day official notice the week of May 5th from the U.S. Department of Treasury notifying them that their federal benefits checks will be cut in early June. I'm kind of confused. Later this summer, the Education Department said all 5.3 million defaulted borrowers will receive a 30-day notice. Their wages will be garnished to cover their long unpaid student debt. Oof. Loan collection has been on pause since the early days of COVID-19 pandemic. Borrowers in default are being urged to contact the Education Department's default resolution group to make a monthly payment, enroll in income-driven repayment plan, or sign up for loan rehabilitation. This may be one of the largest groups of people to simultaneously go into default at the same time. Dealing with debt collection will be a massive headache for many, as paychecks will be dinged, tax refunds will be confiscated, and even Social Security benefits are at risk of being taken to cover unpaid college debt. Let's see. Florida theme parks prepare for busy Memorial Day weekend. Oh, yeah, I bet. Orlando, unsurprisingly, ranked in first place on AAA's list of the top 10 most popular Memorial Day weekend destinations. I would not want to go to, like, Disney on the most busy day, although I think I was. I think when we went with my kids when they were little, the parks, they weren't taking new guests. Like, we had pre-bought tickets, but they said, like, full. So I guess they were as busy as they'd ever be, I guess. This is all about the loans. What it takes for student loans to fall into default, how to check student loan status, what happens if you're in default, how much of a paycheck can be garnished, 15%. Student loan debt can take tax refunds and Social Security benefits. Oof. Best and worst times to drive for holiday plans. Best, worst times to drive. Peak congestion times in major U.S. cities. Oh, okay. Toyota is giving its EV BZ4X a needed upgrade. I don't remember this car. What is this? The Toyota? Its range is 252 miles for front-wheel drive, 222 miles for all-wheel drive. Right now, if I got like an EV, I feel like I'd have to have a hybrid because like I drive long distances a lot, and knowing I'd have to find a charger and make sure it's available and then wait for it to charge, I just feel like it'd give me a rash. I don't know. Margaritaville at sea. But if they ever get long range ones, then I'd be totally into it. Margaritaville at Sea will expand with third ship. Line is acquiring Avesta from Costa Cruises. I thought Costa were the cheap cruises, but maybe not. I wonder how old the ship is. Let's see if they say. The cruise line will add its third ship. Found that the Islander had plenty to offer Jimmy Buffett fans and non-listeners alike. It will be the largest in the fleet, can hold 3,450 passengers. They don't tell you what year the ship was originally built. Nope. Huh. Interesting. I do wonder if that's a fun time. 50 states. Oh, we don't have time to read all this. Let's look at Tennessee. Stanton. Ford Motor Company says the building at its Blue Oval City campus are nearly complete, while equipment installation is underway and will be completed next year. How about, let's just random, I'll close my eyes and pick a place. Maryland, Annapolis. The Maryland Park Service is launching a new day use reservation system to combat overcrowding at state parks, according to a community announcement. The system will go live at Greenbrier State Park and Sandy Point State Park on May 19th. I've been to Sandy Point a bunch of times. Ooh, what's happening in Hawaii? Honolulu. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Fisheries said the 4 Hawaiian monk seals that were rescued and received care at the Marine Mammals Center's Hawaiian Monk Seal Hospital were recently released back into the wild. Oh, that's good. What's this, grizzly? Idaho, Bonner County. The Idaho Department of Fish and Game said a young female grizzly bear was mistakenly shot and killed in North Idaho by a hunter who thought it was a black bear. Oh, that's a bummer. Let's see if I just happen to spot anything that seems... Oh, that's a bummer. I won't read that one. That's a bummer. I don't know. I guess. What is this? Prince George County, Virginia. Iconic toy maker Lego Group, who is building the first U.S.-based manufacturer of the popular toys in the Enon section of Chesterfield, plans to open a $366 million warehouse in Prince George County that is projected to create 305 jobs. Legos. I did a video. I did Legos. What is this? Estes Park. I like Estes Park, Colorado. A female elk with a unique genetic trait is turning heads in Colorado and beyond. Colorado Parks and Wildlife recently shared photographs of a rare elk, a piebald female cow, out in the wild. The female elk sports a brown and snow-white coat. The appearance of the fur is a result of a genetic trait that causes a white coat of hair with some patches of brown. I'm going to have to look it up. What is it called? A pie? I lost it. Hold on. The elk's coat. Wait, I know we saw it piebald or something, right? Anyway, okay. I have to look that up. Well, what's Juneau up to? Alaska. Juneau. The Juneau Assembly approved the extension of the Mendenhall River levee, which was set up to protect homes from glacial outburst floods. Mesa, Arizona. I used to live there. Avelo Airlines conducted its first deportation-related flight as part of the Trump administration's expanding mass deportation agenda. May 12 was the first day of the airline's charter contract to carry out deportation flights on 3 Boeing 737-800 aircrafts from Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport. What's this one? Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. The first time Lorraine Coons ever voted in a presidential election was in 1944, when she voted for then-President Franklin D. Roosevelt's 4th term. Since then, Coons has voted 81 years in a row, saying that she never, ever thought about skipping an election. Good for her. Members of the Lebanon County Bureau of Elections and Voter Registration, along with county and state election officials, came to Lebanon Valley home May 9th to acknowledge the 102-year-old coon's dedication to fulfilling her civic obligations. That's nice. Kansas, Topeka. Kansas drivers will be able to get blacked out license plates starting July 1st, offering another alternative to the more than 60 alternative license plates available in the state. What do they mean blacked out? I thought they meant, like, you know how they put those covers over the license plates so the cameras can't take a picture? Why is that legal? Because sometimes you're behind them and, like, with my eyes, bare eyes, I can't tell what it says at all. And they used to always say, like, oh, if you see a kid get kidnapped, take down the license plate, but you can't see the license plates. So I don't get how that's legal. But so what do they mean by blacked out? Is that something, because they're saying it's an alternative. I don't know. I don't. Well, anyway, all right. That was kind of interesting. There's old Caitlin Clark. She's a good basketball player. Liberty stands tall. Best case scenario influenced NFL schedule. We can't start thinking football yet. It's too early. It says Fox goes variety over Cowboys. I don't know what that means. Fox requested 3 home Cowboys games for the slot, down from 6 last year. Okay. Impact of Rodgers indecision. The Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that hasn't had a losing season since 2003, don't have their schedule fortunes come down to the signing of one man, even if it is a starting quarterback. Did I read that sentence right? Certainly Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame quarterback, makes a difference, Schroeder said, but Pittsburgh's been incredible for a long streak. Mike Tomlin's an incredible coach. Schroeder noted the presence of one of NFL's best defenders in TJ Watt. Okay, so then streaming versus broadcast. Piecemeal release here to stay. Annoyed by the NFL's 3-day rollout of the schedule, starting with trickling of international and primetime games before the schedule release. I don't know. Big 3, just average 3 in PGA first round. Ooh, slam. Rose's family elated with MLB statement. Okay. Weather. Here's the weather around the country. Looks like it's warming up. In Florida, we've got the 90s up to the south coastal, and then middle of the country, the mid 80s. But then it goes down 10 degrees, basically. Well, for some of the country, all of this Midwest part. All right, let's just look at the extremes. We have, we'll do Saturdays. Hold on. We've got Miami, 91. We've got Brownsville, Texas, 95. We've got Bangor, Maine, 60. Marquette, Michigan, 58. What are like other hot? Oh, well, Phoenix, 94. And then where's Death Valley? They don't show Death Valley. And what are the coldest? Let's see. What's the coldest we see on this map? 57. Oh, 52. Okay, Duluth, 52. I think that's the coldest. And the hottest is probably this 95. Yeah, 95. Look, it's colder in... No, I take back. Juneau's 51. Juneau's colder. Last year at this exact day, I was in Alaska. I'm not sure if I was in Juneau, but I was in Alaska. McElroy savors masters but has time to push for more. All right, guys. Well, that was mildly interesting. The only problem with newspapers, you get that like black on your hands from the print. I might have to try to do the puzzles later. I don't know. All right, I'll talk to you soon. They're probably too hard. Positive trait. Oh, we didn't look at the from dishes to dresses, the household items most likely made in China. Huh. See page 6B. How did we miss this? I want to know what things will go up in price. Let's see. Dishes, pots and pans, utensils, refrigerators, televisions, couches, lamps, dresses, toilets, vacuum cleaners, washer dryers. Okay. So those are the things that, let's see.